Howdy. Welcome to the show. Welcome.
Yeah.
Kind of a different day today. We got an interview coming up for you late in the show. Lane Johnson, he's going to be joining us right before, what do we get to, like a mailbag at the end of the show?
We're going to end with a mailbag. Lane's right before. We're going to play a portion of the interview is recorded last night.
That's right.
Lane.
That's right.
And then Lane, the full episode will be dropping right
Live to
after.
tape.
Lane Johnson, nice player.
Yeah, I'll say.
Good player. That's sometimes Howie Long will say something like that to me. Just name a guy. Good player.
Yeah.
Be like, damn.
When do you hang out with my dad?
On occasion.
Just randomly?
Handful of times a year. Yeah.
Yeah. My dad will say some shit like that to me too. It's all football on the telephone with him.
CJ Stroud, good player.
Mm-hmm.
It goes a long way from Big Howie.
It does go a long way.
Yeah.
It does go a long way. He was on Games with Names, the Julian Edelman podcast. It was very good. I listened to 20 minutes of it. I just don't have 3 hours.
I know, that was a long
So I can
one.
imagine like us trying to peddle some 3-hour bullshit to you consumers twice a week. You guys are like, this is a lot. Lesson learned. We'll make today short.
Say word. With the college football show out tomorrow.
That's right. That's going to be exciting.
Maybe even today ahead of Notre Dame, Indiana, which is tonight.
Oh, that's tonight.
Hard to keep track of these.
I bought the under a long time ago.
Ooh.
Or the over, actually. Sorry. Let me get caught up here.
Snow.
Snowing.
I know, and then I see the snow.
Hey, snow goes both ways.
I got Indiana in the under.
Okay.
That's what
Well, we'll talk with Steve later, but like the games tomorrow refresh me.
Clemson, Texas is the second one. First one will be Penn State, SMU, and the nightcap is Ohio State, Tennessee.
Gosh, there's like not a lot of likable teams playing tomorrow. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Like nobody likes SMU.
Dabo.
They're richer than us.
I know.
They're like UVA on steroids.
But they get to say pony up, which is cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pony up.
Yeah.
But I saw a TikTok where they were like going around. I can't believe I'm saying this. I saw a TikTok where they were going around and they were interviewing people at the stadium
Yeah.
at an SMU game, and they were like, what's your biggest financial flex? And these kids were just
Yacht. Plane.
douchebags, like unapologetically. Like it wasn't even like, damn, I'm gonna be on camera saying this shit. Like they were like, I'm gonna be on camera saying
Yeah.
this shit.
Trust fund.
It's bad.
Yeah.
So, and then there's Clemson, and I hate Clemson's guts. Ohio State, nobody likes Ohio State. Penn State, the reason I like Penn State is because Marcus Hagans is up there, but most people don't like Penn State. Tennessee,
Kind of likable.
I like Tennessee.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out who to bet tomorrow night. Inevitably, I'm going to make a play on a team that I haven't watched play at all this year. That's what this
That's the
weekend's
best.
all about, isn't it?
That's the best.
Just peppering Steve with texts, asking him who's going to win.
You don't have to bet it. You got NFL games Saturday.
That is true.
Ooh,
That's true.
true.
We got 2 of them.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about those early in the show.
And I know you want to be done talking about this, but the Georgia quarterback is likely out for the rest of the season.
I know I saw that. Do you think that's just a
Probably
business
little
decision?
column A, little column B. But the Indiana Hoosiers might have a little path here to the national championship game if they can get by the Fighting Irish.
If they can get by Notre Dame, which doesn't seem like it, does
JMU
it?
Midwest.
I don't know.
JMU Midwest.
Plug this damn thing in, man. Fucking USB-Cs. What's next?
Next is last night, the tough.
No, it's talking about Chargers.
Oh,
Chargers.
Chargers.
Last night, Chargers.
Hey.
Hey.
Segue.
Wow.
I like
That's
that.
very good.
Wow.
What a great day not to be a
Wow.
Broncos fan anymore. Oh, man.
I cannot believe you did that in the group text last night.
he was doing it.
No.
over the screen.
It's okay to make fun of Reed, but to claim that you knew this all along
Yeah.
is like next level asinine, even for you.
Woo!
He-
Cash the bet.
in the group chat last night, can I read this text for people at home? This is so good. This is right after I was like, hey guys, I need a mailbag tomorrow, and everybody just took off the next 13 hours. Fucking you guys. Unbelievable. He texted last night, told y'all the Broncos should have been on that grill. Bengals still have a chance. This is like his thing now. But it's true.
I like the Bengals plus 400 to make the playoffs. Ooh.
You're just trying to emotionally hedge
Bengals
the
are cooked.
beating that we're
Bengals
going to
are
give
cooked.
you. If the Bengals get in, it's going to be like the worst day of your career here.
No, it's
And
not.
you're going to try to turn it into a positive by betting them plus 400 against the playoffs.
Listen.
Yeah.
There will be no negative days here. I just won a few grand on the
that's true.
Broncos.
That's true.
Like, bro, I am ecstatic.
And how predictable is it that once you're done with them, they're just
Bro, they're
just kaput?
done.
No, they're not. Listen, now here's the deal.
I think Bo hit
so
his
people at
wall.
home know. I mean, a lot of people have read this, but the reason I was pulling for the Chargers last night, no offense, is because this would be good for the pod. It would be good for the pod, Reed, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
if
it
the
would.
Broncos lost out. You've got to be just rocking a hard place here because obviously on one hand it'd be good for the pod,
Oh, it'd be great for
and on
the
the
pod.
other hand
and
it would crush you.
yeah, it would, and yeah, that's good for the show. And I'm all about what's good for the show. So if I had to be crushed, that's no problem.
So
But-
here, go ahead.
no, it's like I know how the story ends. I know.
How does
like,
the story end?
Oh, with
Hello,
the Bengals
darkness,
getting
my old
yeah,
friend.
Bengals are in the playoffs. They're going to make the Super Bowl and probably lose to some team that Fax picks, and Fax going to be like, "I knew it all along." Bang, 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 bang.
No, but here's the deal. Here's the deal for people at home. Like we knew coming into this week, if the Bengals win, this is so many big ifs. but we did say the biggest if was like if the Chargers beat the Broncos on Thursday night, then things get like because then it's in your head.
Oh yeah,
With 3 games to go, it's not in your head. Okay? But all of a sudden you lose to the Chargers, and what has to happen is the Bengals have to win out and the Broncos have to lose out. Okay, the Bengals play the Browns this weekend. If they beat the Browns this weekend, that gives them probably one of the biggest mental advantages, if you believe in that sort of thing, going into a game against the Broncos, meaning if they beat the Broncos in that game, Week 17,
At home.
that means Week 18 it comes down to both teams playing respectively. The Chiefs, right?
For Denver.
For Denver, who could be resting guys. Okay, so you got to if you're a Broncos fan, you got to pray that Andy Reid and Mahomes and Hollywood Brown this weekend and the whole crew get a win, right? And then the other team, the Bengals, is playing who? Week 8?
Steelers.
The Steelers. So it's just
it's too much to. I don't want to think about
It's
it.
a
And
lot.
even if the Chiefs still rest their players,
yeah.
fucking Carson Wentz is going to go out there.
Dude, I'm telling you, Wentz is good, and that's my MacBook starting up.
And the Steelers could be resting everybody. If Steelers win this weekend, they have nothing to play for.
Fucking
Week
6
18.
minutes late. Wait, go ahead.
The Steelers could be resting everybody in that Week 18 game. The Bengals could have a easy matchup. If
Dude,
the Steelers win this weekend,
the Steelers
they'll lock
win this
in that
weekend, they
division
win the
spot.
division.
Yeah.
It's Reed.
It's not good. It's terrible.
But it's
We're
like
in it-
it's kind of a ways off from being not good, but it's in the distance and you can see it. So
Yeah.
therefore it's possible. And it feels
well,
likely to you because
it's
of your
eight-
Broncos
it says
fandom.
it's 85%, but that's not true. It's like 2% that we're going to get in. That's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like to
Yeah,
you.
because it's
Because
like
your quarterback can't figure out where the line to
He
gain
threw
is
for
on
3
third down.
air yards.
Goodness gracious.
I will say that's what Jesse Minter's defense does to like 70% of the quarterbacks.
Just
that play.
obscures the line to gain.
Yeah.
Bo
See it.
can't throw to the sticks.
Knicks.
He was making some good, but yeah, no, that was tough to watch.
I think.
Oh my
Has
god!
he hit his wall?
He
You
didn't
think,
exactly
his rookie
push.
wall?
No, I
Did you see that? Oh man, that fucking
How quickly have
Tua
we gotten
deep
to the-
shot.
Yeah,
that he threw?
terrible.
Lang-
And then he threw
punt.
one into the front
Cowboy
row
language.
behind the end zone. Did you see
Did
that
you,
one?
Yeah,
did you just compare him to Tua?
I
Well,
said he threw
he
a two
did.
Pass.
He did
that
a
one
Tua
pass,
deep shot.
Yeah,
Tua-ish.
yeah.
Hey, here's the big deal, dude. You guys gave up the first free kick in
50 some ass years. Yeah,
48
Free
years.
kick.
Ridiculous.
Can you believe?
and Harbaugh was like, "Oh, it's my favorite.
My
play."
favorite thing.
Shut up, man.
And also, it was a big play.
Yeah. it was
There was
11-8.
zeros on the clock, and we were up 14.
That
points.
pick felt like a
11 points.
backbreaker before the half.
Yeah.
I had friends who I'm not going to mention texting me at the half that, hey, maybe we need to talk about Justin Herbert being a game executive, which of course is like a step up from a game manager.
dude.
And I said, I hope you jinxed him because I'm on the Chargers.
And that's what.
And boy, did he, because he came out in the second half. That throw rolling left was incredible. He needed that because he was
Insane.
headed to a game executive kind of like
Yeah.
narrative thing if he lost this game.
That was.
And it would have been fair. It would have been hard to argue with people. They're like, hey, I'm starting to see what people are saying about Herbert, where it's like, you know, he's got all this talent And you heard Ryan Fitzpatrick talk about it this week, where he's like, he's got tantalizing traits, but it just doesn't culminate in wins and I think that's unfair because you have to look at it like finally he has some competent coaching and he's throwing the ball to Lab McConkey and some other guys like Stone Smart and guys like that.
T's.
But I'm starting to from a standpoint, if he didn't get that win last night, the noise is way up.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And those first 3 drives, it kind of felt like Denver was going to run away with the thing because they threw the kitchen sink at them in the run game.
We had 212 yards in the first 3 drives.
It was crazy.
21 points. And then Sean Payton, who wrote "run it" on his damn play card, was like, "Oh, I'm just going to erase that and forget that I wrote it there."
Well, let me ask
Ridiculous.
you this: should you have 5280 on your helmet if you're not playing at a mile
Yeah, that
high?
shouldn't be on an away uniform.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Yep, I agree. Shout out to the Libetard show in the chat here.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah.
The container boys and
Yep.
girls.
They said tale of 2 halves. Shout out to Chris Long.
Shout out to y'all. Now here's the thing. Jesse Minter did a really good job in the second half of adjusting, and the defense as a whole. Last week, don't forget they gave up 27 points in the second half.
Yeah.
That like coming off a game when you play Tampa, and the floodgates open in the second half. Like you can bet a big deal was made about finishing games, and they did. Just huge for them. And Justin Herbert, we say a lot about him, but they absolutely needed the 2-point conversion, which was an incredible catch. 2 insane catches. The Harbaugh Jugs machine thing is paying off for everybody on that roster because the Palmer catch on 2-point conversion was incredible. And then also the onside kick catch was even better.
Yes.
Was maybe a perfect kick.
Yep.
Like literally a perfect kick. And the fact that it would have
It was about to go off the
the
heezy.
ace man, and it
about
would have
to
been
go
straight
off
up in the air, and
heezy,
then
right into the air.
if you watch the replay, he holds on to it, and then there's about 6 Broncos that come into frame.
Is that the least
Well,
desirable job in pro football?
Oh, I would rather take my chances there than trying to field a punt.
I
Oh,
agree.
yeah, that's not good.
I agree.
That's just that's
You know,
the
also
worst.
kind of low key sucks being the guy that goes like this on
that
field
spot's
goal.
worse. than
Yo,
fielding
yeah,
a
yeah.
punt.
When that
Well,
was Bo's job,
we wouldn't be able to
It's
catch
Bo's
it.
job.
Huh?
You can at least try to dive onto a ball on the ground and
but the
cover
thing
up.
that saves you with fielding a punt, you can always fair catch, and someone can still hit you, but
But
That's-
it's
But-
the
but
muffing.
All of
the
us
thing.
would still drop.
I would
the
drop
ball.
the punt, dude.
Yeah.
Personally, that's just me.
And Dopey Al Michaels tried to meanwhile us into halftime, and Harbaugh called that timeout with 8 seconds. You always call it timeout because you never know what can happen on a punt. We saw the kick-catch interference.
There
and
you
it's
go.
crazy. Before that timeout happened, I was wondering on both sides of the ball, what they kind of were doing with that last 30 seconds. The fact that no one called a timeout, and then Denver hurried up to run a play, instead of, I don't know if they were going to knee it or they were trying to run the clock out. And it's just if you're in between, wait a little while to run that play so there's no time left.
Yeah.
At least.
Can I admit something?
Yeah.
I walked out. I didn't see it in real time
Oh, my
at
goodness.
half.
Yeah.
At half because I was like, you know what? I can't win a primetime game to save my life. I'm tired of this shit. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hemorrhage cash and sit in front of the TV.
That's good honesty.
And then I left for 30 minutes, and I look up, and Herbert's got him driving in the second half, and I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Where'd those 3 points come from?
Where'd those 3 points come from?
and then you
jump-
checked your timeline, and everyone was like,
You're-
"What?"
No, I didn't check. I don't check my timeline.
Oh, good.
I think
When I
that's,
do, I'm not real happy with what I see.
Have you seen the Dicker kick? I think it's the opposite of a basketball player at the free throw line with nobody on the lane. The pressure
Yeah.
is greater.
Yeah.
I think when you just kick it like you're warming up,
Oh,
you're
for
like,
sure.
this is sweet.
No,
Yeah.
That's probably easy.
That was awesome.
That's probably easy.
Sean Payton said they practiced that. Did you guys practice free kicks when you were in the NFL?
And not that I would have paid attention
was it-
to it. No
wait.
offense to any
Like,
special teams
practicing free
coordinators.
kick is just a kicker kicking.
Yeah.
But their
Is this-
special teams coach supposedly goes over it every Friday.
This has always been a rule.
This has
Yeah.
always been a rule.
Always been a rule. How many times has it happened?
I don't know about the Canton Bulldogs, but since I was, in the league, it's been a rule.
Last time was 76.
Okay.
Last time it happened.
Yeah.
Last time
Yeah.
it happened.
Yeah.
That was that looked.
People
that
have been
looked
trying
kinda, That looked kind of like CFL-ish.
Yeah.
that whole situation.
It did. Bills tried to call for it before. There was a time with Julian Edelman. He ran down and was yelling him. Can I ask you this? Did you see the?
I'm sure you can.
Did you see the?
I don't know. Can you?
Did you see?
That's the biggest fake.
We had. It was the.
Maybe he can't. Maybe he can't.
That's a good question.
We were pulling Justin Herbert down to the ground.
Yeah.
They called the penalty. Justin Herbert had his hand on our player's face mask. I think Cooper.
Yeah.
How is that not called?
They rarely call offensive face mask. The call in that situation was what?
Horse collar.
Horse collar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's usually going to supersede the face mask from the offensive player. They really don't call. And last night there was a helmet-to-helmet in the red zone that I, for instance, thought the offensive player initiated contact with the head, or at least it was 50-50. Now it became kind of insignificant because, I mean, it was like move the ball from the 4 to 2.
Yeah.
And I also didn't love – I'm willing to be swayed on these things because, again, I was kind of in the second half not as into it, but like the PIs late – kind of 50-50 there to me.
I think Denver was on the wrong end of a no-call DPI.
Yeah, on the
That
right
wouldn't-
sideline.
Yep.
That would have gotten us a few points.
But here you are, and now all you have to do is not lose out.
We're hoping for Miami to lose, Bengals to lose, Colts to lose.
But wait, you need all three of those things to happen this weekend to clinch right now.
Yes.
Without winning another
Get
game.
the grill.
That is correct.
Horse meat.
Horse meat.
I would eat some horse meat. Sorry.
The Colts and the Broncos.
Sorry, horse meat.
No, I know how the story ends. It's all good. I just want it, a playoff. We'll do it next week. All good.
This is our Colts. This is our team.
Man, Jonathan Taylor, man. Thank you so much.
JT, man.
Thank you so much.
Didn't he hold out recently?
Man.
Can you imagine
Man.
for a second holding out? I need more money.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying he's not wrong or right, but what I am saying is then in the game when you absolutely need it, you drop the ball at the goal line.
Hurts.
Oh,
Hurts. Man.
I'm telling you, and those games when you're on your fourth last chance as a team, the mistakes are like, it's like everybody hates the people that make the mistakes, which is why, thankfully, he's one of the best players.
Yeah.
JT, hold out. More like hold on to the ball, my friend.
You got it.
And then did you hear the did you see the mic'd up? They had Denver mic'd up. And before that pick six,
Yeah.
Surtain was just like, watch the tricky shit. The tricky shit is coming.
Yeah.
And next play. tricky
shit.
To the crib.
I'll never forget. He got the laces right where he wanted them. He flipped the ball to get the laces where he wanted them to throw that pick six.
Imagine being on the under in that game.
I know.
Painful.
Very.
Yeah.
Anyways. Hey, a couple housekeeping items. I have a worst flight. Worst flight goes to, did you see this? Darvin Ham advised Bucks to not pop champagne after the NBA Cup championship.
I did. Giannis said he had cramped up when they won the NBA title, so he didn't want to repeat that.
Well, I mean, talk about the flight back from something like that. It's just like we can't even be happy.
They get an extra $500,000 each.
Okay, $500,000.
does
That
a little
works.
something.
They could buy a lot of Toyotas with that one. We'll talk about Brock Purdy in a little bit. He didn't get a $500,000.
And Darvin Ham doesn't coach the Bucks anymore. It's Doc Rivers.
No, I know. But why do they have him in the graphic?
I don't know.
He's
I was like, how does
assistant
he
coach.
figure into this?
He's an assistant.
Yeah, okay. He's an assistant. He's drawing from his experience in L.A. He's telling
He's the only coach that he's won. He's
Doc
won
Rivers.
every game. He's undefeated in the NBA Cup.
Yeah, he's like an NBA Cup legend.
Yeah. 8-0 or whatever.
NBA Cup legend Darvin Ham.
One ham, 2 cups.
Hey, that was fire.
One ham, 2 cups.
Yeah.
That was fire. That was a good one. Wow.
We might want to tweet that
That's
from
the visual
GLD.
on that.
Yeah.
One ham, 2 cups.
Look at all the Mick Ultra just sitting there unopened. The players were like, nah, man, we can't get excited about this. We're not allowed. We're not allowed. Best flight. Hey, did you guys ever heard of Lawn Chair Larry? Holy shit, I read about this week. On July 2nd, 1982, Larry Walters made a 45-minute flight in a homemade aerostat made of an ordinary lawn chair and 42 helium-filled weather balloons. The aircraft rose to an altitude of 16,000 feet, drifted from the point of liftoff in San Pedro, California, and entered controlled airspace near Long Beach Airport. During the final descent, the aircraft became entangled in power lines, but Walters was able to climb down safely. Basically, dude, it's random as hell. You know how you see things randomly on Instagram now, like Reels, when you're doom scrolling? They told me this story, and I was like, fake news. No way. I had to Wikipedia it. But the guy just wanted to go for a ride, 42 helium balloons, went to 16,000 feet, had a BB gun on him, luckily, and was systematically shooting the balloons to make sure that he was able to descend down safely.
Oh,
is that fucking nuts?
Yeah. In 1993, Walter shot himself in the heart in the Angeles National Forest and died.
No way.
He was 44 years
Is
old.
that the Japan forest?
No.
No, that's interesting.
No.
He said he shot himself.
This guy's dead now?
Yeah, he killed himself 11 years later.
Imagine him being an erratic behaved guy.
He was arrested right when he landed from this flight you're discussing.
I know. The 911 calls were crazy, supposedly. He was like, yeah, I don't know how to say this. Like, it's crazy to me. That's insane. Kind of makes me want to do it, but with less balloons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're jumping out of a plane. That's
I
not
am.
enough?
What do you mean?
That's not enough?
I am jumping out of a plane.
Like, what? I'm still baffled about that, by the way.
He jumped out of a plane before.
Yeah.
Strapped to somebody.
Yeah.
I understand, but that's kind of
Safe?
sus.
Bro, you should see the pictures.
Is it just the pictures are always so ridiculous?
Yeah.
No, I'm going alone. I'm going alone.
Yeah.
For people listening, I am going to jump out of a plane. D-Day.
Now you're on like a rope of some sort, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's all good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
There's a
I'm trying
rope?
down.
Yeah.
It's like you're on a cable, and then when you jump out, the cable pulls the chute out.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm good.
I had to
So it's
yank
Static
that
line
thing.
parachute.
Wait, so like it's like you're on like a zip line? I'm like confused on
Just
like you're
watch
saying on a
watch
rope.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah,
and
dude.
you'll be
Watch
good.
Saving Private Ryan.
You're
bro.
saying you're on a rope,
That's
but like
basically what
once
I'm
you
gonna be
pull
doing.
it, you're still gonna be floating. You're still gonna be floating on
Yes.
this parachute completely alone.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once the chute is open, no
like that-
problem.
That's the crazy part. No problem
Yeah.
for someone who's never parachuted.
What's the worst
It
that can happen? I
actually-
break both my legs?
Checkpoint.
Seriously, I'll be in this motherfucker in a wheelchair bossing y'all around next year. I'm gonna be like, can you move your bag?
You wouldn't be able to get up the stairs.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
This is not
You'd be
accessible.
downstairs yelling.
Uh-huh.
Studio J is not accessible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Not
sue you
ADA
guys.
compliant.
I'm gonna sue whoever's HR here. Motherfucker.
Bo Allen.
Bo.
Fairly
Look at
sus,
me.
huh?
Yeah, you know what? Bo's also doing it. So
You
if
know,
something happens, it probably happened to Bo.
this was the day of your engagement party at your parents' house.
Was it really?
Yeah. I was all on a high from jumping out of an airplane.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Above the clouds,
That's right.
up in the sky.
That was
in the
about
sky.
that was
Up in the
15,000
sky.
feet. Yeah.
2 dudes, 1 shoot.
That was 15,000 feet.
Yeah.
And wait, and the balloon guy went 1,600.
No, 1,000, I think. Didn't you say 1,000?
The balloon guy went 16,000 feet.
16,000.
Yeah.
They
That's
said, "Careful, Chris! Don't get
15,000?
Yeah.
caught up in
Yeah,
that
dog.
zip line parachute or rip your arm off."
Hey,
Well,
C Long,
somebody else is gonna have to work the
16,000, right?
soundboard, huh?
Oh,
I'm just at
more
the
than
age now,
15,000. Basically the same, yeah.
39, where I'm like, you know, I don't need to say the rest.
Well, yeah,
Or at
homeboy at
least halfway
44
home. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
tapped out.
Tapped out. Okay. All right. What's next in this motherfucker? Oh,
The Green Light Podcast.
speaking of flights, did you see somebody crash in Deion Dawkins' yard?
Yes, he was excused from practice.
That was Sean McDermott doing a mental exercise to see if he was ready for a playoff push. I just can't believe that shit.
Airplanes just crashing.
Yeah, not good.
What would be the first thing you do if you seen an airplane like land in your crash in your backyard?
Getting the fuck out of the way.
Would you just get everyone and just leave?
Which
No.
Cops or like
No, I would go over with a hose and I'd be like, hold on a second. And I'd try to put out the fire.
okay.
Airplanes
and-
coming at you you're in your yard. Airplanes coming at you.
Yeah.
Which way do you run? You have 8 seconds.
Straight
Yeah, toward it.
toward it.
Toward it.
Toward
Yeah.
it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not side to side, not one
Nah,
way?
dog.
It's not like
Toward
a
it.
fucking alligator or something.
Well, if it's going straight, if you run to a
Zigzag.
side,
Zigzag.
Are you
You're running-
zigzagging? So the airplane is that what you?
I'm picking a side. If it's going straight at me, I'm picking a side. Get
No,
out of
I'm
the way in
fucking.
3
I'm
seconds.
going
All
right.
right,
under
so
the
you going
thing.
left or right, cowboy?
Right, always
Ooh.
right.
Is it a
Yikes.
Piper Cub? Is it a Cessna?
Oh, this is a big one. I'm talking like
Oh, like a Boeing
Yeah,
7.
yeah. You guys are running at it.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
You're gone.
I had.
That's what I don't
two-
get. Everyone runs away from it, and then they just get choked.
Everybody. Whenever I see somebody running away from
Yeah.
a plane crash
Yeah.
that's imminent and in their backyard, they always run away.
Run away.
I had 2 recurring nightmares as a child, and one was a U.S. Air flight crashing into our house.
Really?
Wasn't no
And you
fun.
knew it was U.S. Air?
It was always U.S. Air.
How do
Yeah.
you know?
It was on the side of the plane.
How do you?
It said U.S. Air.
Okay.
Yours.
Thing was moving slow, huh?
Well, it was them parked in our house because it had crashed into it.
Okay.
And like I'm waking up, I'm like, oh, U.S. Air.
Hey, U.S. Air here. Hey. Anyway.
The other one was I was lying on the ground on my stomach as a child, and I could crawl toward a fire, like into a fire,
Yeah.
or there were 2 stuffed animal foxes that had strings attached to my legs, my ankles, and they were pulling me towards them to eat me, but I could crawl either into a fire or I could be eaten by 2 foxes. And I was yelling for help, and there were a bunch of people in a semicircle around this fire. I was just yelling for help me, help me, help me, and nobody could hear me. Help me, help me, help me. So I could either run into a fire, get eaten by foxes. Those were my 2 options. I kept yelling, help me, nobody. Nobody's home.
And you're afraid of foxes.
Oh, I hate foxes.
Yeah,
Makes
they were the
a lot of
foxes with
sense,
the red
dude.
vests and like the bow ties.
I didn't have any recurring. I didn't have any recurring nightmares. I just had night terrors, bro. Yeah. Seriously.
Yelling.
Yelling and shit. You know, I don't have night terrors anymore. I'm not a little fucking kid. All right.
Well, the Green Light Podcast is brought to you by BetMGM.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, BetMGM has made betting easy and seamless all season long. I just make it hard on my end. Hopefully, you have been able to pick up some plays from us to use on the BetMGM app. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. And just a reminder, BetMGM's got your back with a second chance promotion. All season long, BetMGM is offering you a second chance on your first touchdown bet. When you place a wager on a first touchdown scorer bet and he doesn't score first but scores second, BetMGM will return 100% of your stake back in cash. Be sure to take advantage of this offer. And remember, use bonus code GREENLIGHT when you sign up to get a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Happy hunting.
Happy hunting.
Just do this. You don't have to go on TV with Mr. Beast and look like a fucking idiot. Seriously, last night, I know this is like your thing. You like this show probably. But I was on the couch and just kind of, you know, at the end of these games sometimes you get stuck. And I got stuck.
On the Amazon show?
Yeah. And Mr. Beast has got 1,000 people in a warehouse and he's
Yeah.
dropping them through like chutes and
That was at SoFi. He rented it out for like 2 weeks or something.
explain that.
He's just doing a game show. It's the most epic game show, but the top winner's getting $5 million. Biggest prize for a game show ever.
I know, but it's kind of unsettling to me.
Is it?
Yeah, I'd rather see like people get their hearts broken over like a new car on Wheel of Fortune.
But
There's something unsettling about $5 million and what it turns all those people into. And I totally get it's $5 million.
Every contestant that goes, every contestant got $2,000 even if you lose.
Okay, that's good.
And then probably along the way, someone's probably going to get a Tesla and stuff like that. Kingston was signed up. I guess he didn't make it.
I was too old.
Oh.
Really?
Man.
So,
Beast is an ageist?
Ageist.
Really?
yeah. That,
No, you weren't. I saw
No,
some
there
people
was an
older
old
than you,
lady.
people
They
with
were
gray hair and
they
shit.
literally let an old lady
I don't know.
kind
They
of win.
let me to the third round, and then I didn't get to the fourth round. That was the reason I assumed.
There's no character
round.
development.
Not bad.
Seriously. It's just a million people.
I
So-
agree with
so
you that
that's-
it's dystopic.
It
Where,
is dystopic,
where,
right?
Like, there's all these people fighting for a way out just with like this clout demon. It's very gross.
It's like Hunger Games and Squid Game mixed.
Yeah.
That's hate. That's
Yeah, it
hate.
is.
That's hate. But what you're saying,
Yeah.
supposedly the Amazon show, it's his first time being able to do that, and then when it gets further into the show,
Yeah.
that's when he's going to be able to do storylines with certain people and like have like a background to what's going on, why these people are fighting for the money, if it is greed or if it's hey they have this going on, whatever it may be. But I think it's good content.
That's hate. All right. What do we
This is
after
not-
that killer Thursday night game last night, which honestly, for a while wasn't that great a game.
I was enjoying it.
I was straight.
It's like a bunch of now I know the names of the offensive players. Nikki Glazer after the game was shitting on the name recognition factor on offense in this game. And she's right. It's a bunch of guys that you haven't heard of playing offense and getting up and down the field. You know what I mean? I want to see defense in that situation. Anyways,
Audric Estime, Hassan Haskins,
Atkins,
Darius Davis,
Vele, who people
Devon
should know by
Vele,
now
Michael
is
Burton.
huge.
Those were touchdown scores.
That Vele pick actually worked out really well for them.
Oh, yeah,
Hey.
he's good.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's really good.
What do they get him in the 7th?
Good player.
Utah? Good
sixth,
player.
I think.
Vele,
Oh,
good player.
Good
Yep.
player,
Yeah, 7th. Yeah, you're right.
big,
Good player.
big receiver,
Big receiver.
big target.
But Saturday, we've got Chiefs Texans, and Patrick Mahomes is playing.
Okay.
That's what they want you to think.
I don't know, though. Why would they have him as an FP, aka full participant?
I got you.
Okay. Why would they have him like that? Why would they have him like that?
Nah, I reckon he's playing.
Nolan, what do you think?
I think he's playing.
I think he's playing.
Doesn't he do this like once a
Yes.
season?
Yes.
Doesn't he do this? Doesn't he have like an ankle game or like a I'm injured? Like am I gonna play?
You saying
And
you don't
then-
think he's really injured?
That's,
I-
that's
I-
hate. That's hate.
I do think he's injured, but I think it's gamesmanship.
Yeah, maybe it
I
is a
think
little
I think it's
gamesmanship.
gamesmanship where it's like, hey, if everyone thinks I'm way more hurt than I really am, I can probably use that to my advantage, even if it's a little bit of a mental edge somewhere.
It definitely can be. And you would think, like, why make them think that the best player on the planet, according to, is not going to play? Okay. But it does cause some unrest in a defensive meeting room and in a defensive line room where you're getting ready to rush two totally different guys. You don't know what to expect with the one, right? Because what you're seeing is Carson Wentz in a new offense. Now, we did get to see him. Did we get to see him play late last year?
Maybe a little.
I thought he played a little bit towards
Yeah.
the end.
Oh yeah,
Against
for
the
the
Chargers,
Rams.
maybe, or the Rams. For the Rams, he
yeah. I
played
think
for
he
the
was
Rams.
playing for the Rams. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got to see Carson a little bit late last year, but we haven't seen him in a long time. And we certainly haven't seen him with Andy Reid. Listen, I think no matter who plays, I think it becomes a game where if the Chiefs have to drop back and throw the ball, they're going to have problems with the tackles. I think Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter have been great. That defensive line, very disruptive, very fast. I do think Joe's going to help at tackle, but there will be some times where he gets beat. I think if they're going to win this game, and what's interesting to me is they ran the ball a lot last week, and they stuck to it. Can they win with gap scheme runs, can they, which is the best way to attack an attacking front, right? And then can they win on the perimeter fast? When Houston gets in cover 3 and the flat's a little bit more open, you're talking about jet sweeps, quick handoffs, ways to get on the edge. I think the game's going to be won and lost with the run game for Kansas City, no matter who's playing, okay? Because I don't think it's going to take that many points to beat the Texans. That's what you learned this year. It's not like you got to score 30 to beat them. Now, this is week 2 off their bye, so I'm interested to see, did we see an improvement in some areas last week that they're going to build on even more? They shuffled some people on the offensive line.
181 yards of total offense last week.
The run game was non-existent. So in that respect, actually kind of impressive. I thought CJ did some really good things on third down, but if you don't have a run game, and that's supposed to be something that they can lean on, then it's tough sledding. So that's going to be the key this week, in my opinion, is going to be the run game for both teams. I mean, it's not a high total game. What's it sitting now? It started at 39.5 when Mahomes was hedging.
42.
And now we're at 42. So with our gambling show coming up, we can talk more about that. But I think another one is Stroud, against the blitz. When he had an opportunity to go to Minnesota earlier this year, one of the best blitz guys in the league, he kind of failed that test. This is another one of the premier blitz designers, one of the best coordinators in the league, if not the best coordinator in the league. You're going on the road. He's going to have some answers for you. That's a big question for me. Kansas City's got to keep the explosives down. Connor's out. They're going to be working, different guys in. They've been doing that all season. They've given up some explosives. I kind of worry about that. But this is going to be a fun game, man. If Mahomes plays, we got a hell of a Saturday. You know what I mean? And I think if he doesn't play, I think Carson can handle this. He can run the offense.
Am I crazy to think that, if he doesn't play, I think Kansas City offense clicks on all cylinders that Andy Reid wants it to? And, I feel like they,
I think they'll be a different kind of efficient. I do think Mahomes has this year pressed a little bit. I think it's inevitable that with the tackle problems and what you had last year outside, eventually it just kind of gets old. And I think part of it is he tries to get it back in one play at times. I think Carson, ironically, would probably come out with a very efficiency-minded, kind of game plan. I think they try to run the ball. I think try to get the ball out with quick answers. I mean, Hollywood Brown's playing. So what does that mean? Is he just a decoy this week? Another thing is Mahomes and him, what good is he coming back if – now this could be tricky. You take a break, you get on the same page with him over the bye, or week 18 you have a break and then you have the bye, and he's healthy now, but he's barely played. If Mahomes didn't play this week, then you're giving him and Mahomes this much of a runway to get ready, to get on the same page, right? You got to remember – this guy wasn't here. So he barely played at the beginning of the season. Then he's going to come back for a playoff push. It can almost be a negative trying to force the ball and work something out with a guy that you really don't have a chemistry with. So I do think it's important for them to get those reps. And maybe part of the reason they're trying to get him, back right now, certainly he can help you, but they need to get on the same page going into the playoffs. Because that could add a whole new dimension to this offense. Maybe this opens up more stuff underneath. You got 2 burners now, but they got to get on the same page. They haven't really been working together.
Week 16, only one Chiefs receiver with more than 500 yards.
Wow.
And that is Travis Kelce. Oh, boy, almost came down. L.A. Ram, Carson Wentz in Week 18 beat the 49ers. Can anybody guess who the quarterback for the 49ers was in Week 18 of last year?
Hold on.
Chris?
Beathard.
Sam Darnold.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
Wentz's leading receiver was something called Bryson Hopkins.
Something called Brady, yeah. I think Wentz is ready for Act 2, bro. Bold prediction. He's somebody's quarterback next year. I don't know. Just follow the trends, man. The trends say he's going to get an opportunity whether you like it or not. And you might have had enough of Carson Wentz, but
sneakily on December 30th, Carson Wentz turns 32 years of age.
That's wild. I'm old.
Yeah. We're old.
We are very old.
Very old.
Well, not very old. Old enough to jump out an airplane and be okay with the.
Brad Pitt is 61.
I know that's what you said
old.
yesterday,
Yeah.
but that doesn't surprise me. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Oh.
I feel like he was a heartthrob when we were in fucking.
Still is a
He's
hard
still-
drive.
he's-
And that's
still
what I'm saying. And
getting
he
cheeks.
still is. And then you hear like, how old is he? You're like 61.
Yeah, dude. He's
Still doing his
61.
stunts.
He's still doing his
Great
thing.
white.
So we got that one. Then we got Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Listen, Steelers win. They got the division. It's a big one. It's a lot of points too. Make
Yeah. Not gonna. I may or may not fall into that trap again this week.
okay.
45 right now.
And if the Ravens win, it still comes down to the Steelers winning out, right? Like
Yep.
Steelers can still win out,
Yep.
win division.
Control your
So
destiny.
they really have a lot of opportunities here, right?
Not until Pickens
Except they
get
play
back.
the Bengals.
Yeah, they're gonna have that
last
wide receiver.
Not until
They're
Pickens
not.
get
No,
back.
Pickens is not back. So the whole thing for me is they're going to have to run the football. They came out last week, and it felt like early on they tried to run the ball inside and could not do it. By the time they figured out how they wanted to run their offense, they were playing from behind. You don't want to play from behind in this game. If you remember the last game, a lot of field goals, right? Tucker missed some. Boswell hit like 6 of them. It felt like. Was
Yep.
it 6? It's
Something
crazy.
like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, you know, I think the Ravens' pass defense improving is one of the most interesting trends here. It felt like after the Bengals game where they gave up a bunch in primetime and won, they fixed some things or they put the fire out a little bit. And I think a lot of it had to do with Hamilton just playing safety, right? He's been moving all around. He's been in the slot. He's been doing all this stuff. I think they kind of came to a decision, among other things that I'm not aware of, where they say, hey, our best player, let's simplify this thing. Let's grease the squeaky wheel, right? And we can go from here. And, like, maybe we're not going to be able to move him all around and have him in the slot and whatnot, but, like, he's going to be in one spot. And that's helped them. I really do think that the explosive plays are down. Nolan, I had you look up some figures on that. Can you hit me?
So through the first 10 weeks, the Ravens passing defense 32nd in explosive pass percentage allowed. Since that point, since week 11, they're 9th. So there's been drastic improvement there, keeping those big plays in front of them.
That's big, man, because this is a team where, you know, the pass defense and the penalties have really hurt them all year. The penalties, I don't know how they're going to fix that. That kind of seems like part of their DNA, but the pass defense, that's something you're not accustomed to seeing these guys have the reputation that they've had on defense this year. And it doesn't make a lot of sense with guys like Marlon Humphrey, who's so versatile, you know, just a really do-it-all kind of guy. Kyle Hamilton, same thing. You know, they have players back there. You know, they got your guy Wiggins,
Yeah, best player in the
Best player in-
rookie in the league.
best rookie in the league. And, you know, like it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. The backers definitely have given up some stuff in the middle of the field. And I think that's where, like, to me, Russell Wilson has not been a middle of the field guy for most of his career. In Pittsburgh, he's kind of worked some areas of the field I'm not accustomed to seeing him work. And I think this week that's going to be big. It's going to be like, get the run game going, play action if you can, because Lamar is going to play his best. I mean, I don't know. He's going to have his best mindset coming to the game. You wonder how many times this team has to lose to the Steelers. You know, we keep saying, hey, that's got to matter. But it just feels like Tomlin and this bunch have the Ravens number. But the line skyrocketing up to 6.5 kind of makes me wonder if the Pickens thing is just too much for them. They survived that first game, turning the ball over. You know, it was the backer Peyton
Wilson.
I can't get his name. Peyton Wilson with the armbar pick. It's just a thing of beauty. And then the 2 forced fumbles. I think Queen had one. I think Highsmith had another. You know, you win the
Right before half.
Yeah, you win the
That's the
turnover
field goal.
battle. You win the turnover battle. You make your kicks. They don't make their kicks. I feel like the Ravens have to feel good coming in this game and saying, hey, we played our probably one of our worst games. But what else is new playing the Steelers? So We'll see.
But
And Lamar hasn't run the ball since his mom got mad at him. I'm kind of waiting for that. This could be the game.
Yeah, I think Lamar's rushing totals, like, this is the game he maybe goes off. But I'm worried about for the Steelers also that Justin Fields, like, isn't available. So just for short yardage stuff, like, it's just like, what do they do? Like, I don't think Najee Harris is, like, good, like, on, like, 3rd and 4th and 1. I think he fumbles, like, sometimes, or he's just not, like, I don't know. He's a weird running back. He's a good running back, but he's, like, not like a downhill, like, hey, like, just get me this yard. And that scares me that they don't have that. And they can't really
Well, they're just kind of predictable on – they're kind of predictable in short yardage.
Exactly. And also with Russell, you can't do that quick tush push, and you can't – you can try it, but, like, you're probably not confident about it. The fact that you already been playing Justin Fields a little bit, but the fact that he's not available, I think
game could very well come down to short yardage.
Yep.
I mean, it really could. And the run game, obviously. And Derrick Henry with no dreads. How do we feel?
He looks smaller up top.
He does look smaller up top. You haven't seen him?
I would imagine that his helmet is probably 2 sizes smaller.
Are you
now.
boycotting the Giants?
Are
you boycotting the Giants?
Oh, I don't care about the Giants.
Like most Giants fans, probably. But yeah, no. TJ Watt, big. Like, to be TJ Watt this week, playing hurt, playing a division rival, like, you're going off adrenaline. You know, I don't know how bad the ankle is. I don't know what's his status as of right now. I mean, I'm sure he plans on playing. That's what Mike Tomlin was talking about. Like, he felt like his chances were good. It's going to be hard to keep him out of this game, but they also need him down the stretch. So I hope he's straight. This dude, I mean, you talk about sometimes you play a guy that's hurt and you actually get his best. You know what I mean? Because you feel so backed in the corner and you feel like it's time to play hero ball.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's almost like you're in your own movie. It's a crazy thing playing hurt in the NFL. It's like I'm going to go fucking do this.
Yep.
Like, you want to prove that you can play this way. And he's played hurt probably 100 times in his career that you don't even know about. But in a big game like this, having left last game with an ankle, how's that going to affect things? He's obviously a huge part of this game. And third down usually skews towards the Ravens. They've done a really good job on third down this year. But the Steelers did a great job in the first matchup, and that's honestly how they were able to possess the football. So, third down's big for the Ravens. Can't turn the ball over. And I want to see Lamar use his legs. I do. What's the deal with the wide receivers, Nolan, from an injury standpoint for Baltimore? I saw that Bateman and Nelly were on the list.
Yeah, they're both on the list. They're both questionable, so we'll kind of see how, I guess, they progress through today, tomorrow, before the game. And then, obviously, the Deontay Johnson situation continues there. The team mutually agreed with him that he'd be excused from team activities this week following the suspension. So,
what a disaster!
Not much of a loss, but he won't be in the lineup. Yeah,
like, what are we doing?
Just wild that's what it's come to. And honestly, you feel like Mike Tomlin might have been like, he might have known what was going on.
Well, it's just like with the Devondre Campbell thing and the Deontay Johnson thing. I'm not saying they're the exact same, but it's just like, didn't Deontay have some? I can't remember. There's too many damn storylines. What happened to him two weeks ago to prompt this suspension?
I don't think he wanted to go in the game.
Yeah, it's like it's the same thing as Campbell.
Or he didn't like how he was being used in the game.
Man, this is like the age of, everybody thinks they can just pick and choose exactly how things go all the damn time.
What did you think of Shanahan saying it was probably a mistake in the press conference the other day to sign Devondre Campbell?
I mean, he's being honest.
Yeah.
Probably a mistake. Definitely a mistake. Definitely a mistake. Like, we needed that game. Like, that's what the whole season was about.
Yeah.
Do you know how bad it is when they say something like that? Like, you can be the worst player in the world and people don't say it out loud, like, in the media. You can be an asshole. People don't say it out loud in the media. Right. You do something like that, and you get aired out. John Lynch running you down. Tomlin don't want anything to do. Not Tomlin don't want anything to do with Deontay Johnson. Harbaugh don't want anything to do, but Tomlin already didn't.
Well, and Tomlin said earlier this year when preparing for Deontay Johnson,
there are
it's
other
like
guys that are on film.
there's some others.
Yeah.
that
You
we're
could
looking
tell
at.
he's just not popular.
Yeah.
So this is a question for Nate. The Chargers won last night. We're not doing Steelers money line then for your Harbaugh theory?
Oh, Chargers won?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just
No, so like they're done. So like the
like-
Harbaugh theory, it continues.
Nate's right.
They both can't lose in a week.
Both can't lose. Okay.
Good one.
okay. Got you. Got you.
Yeah, you
on,
guys pipe
guys.
down over.
Well, what was the initial
Thank-
theory?
thank-
Didn't
thank-
you
yeah,
amend
I
this
got you.
theory?
The initial theory was one win,
So the
one loses
initial
until
theory's
like
dead.
week 3 or 4 or
Then he
whatever it was
changed
that
the
both
theory.
teams
No,
won.
it was
Okay.
always that they, like I said, like that they can't lose. They'll
never go
can't
0-2.
lose. They would never go 0-2.
Okay,
And
okay.
that hasn't happened yet.
It really hasn't
Still-
happened yet.
Still going.
That's crazy.
Still going.
That just sucks, man. You know. Hey, what are we talking about now? Philly, Washington.
Billy Washington in Washington.
Hey, how about my lovely wife was like, "Hey, the boys really want to go to the Philly Washington game." I was like,
They're smart kids. They know what's up.
yeah.
Like that game is close to us, Dad.
I was like, why don't we stand in the middle of the highway on the way to the game? Probably be just as daring.
Bro, it's gonna be lit.
No, I know. Well, you know, like being honest, I was like, I'll go with you guys because I don't want my wife bringing an 8 and a 5-year or 8 and a 6-year-old to a game like this. Like, it's just not something that I feel comfortable just like letting. Because I remember that stadium. My brother got in a fight in the parking lot. My brother and both my brothers, and my mom had to like put her hands on somebody. It was like, it was a crazy scene. This place is a bit crazy. I mean, as is any NFL stadium. I don't know, dudes in the chat, would you let your wife take 2 young children to NFL game, especially one with the stakes of this weekend's game, the rowdiness that's going to be in that stadium? So I had to I was like, maybe I'll go. Nate, I was almost going to go. But I can't go. I can't go.
Wow.
Nor can they. I vetoed the
Wow.
whole thing. So there's plenty of other Eagles games to go to. Is there not?
Man, you know what that means.
What does that mean?
It's probably gonna be an electric game now.
It probably is going to be a great game. And I'm going to be on the couch. I'm going to have that on one TV and all the other games on the other TVs. It's going to be a lot better. You know? Anyways.
The
can I
chat's
just say-
supporting you.
Can-
Too dangerous. Thomas said he almost got in a fight there as a Birds fan.
Bro, it's too dangerous. Then I got to tell my kids, like, hey, you can't cheer. You know, you can't wear any Eagles stuff. Like, who wants to go to a game like that?
Hey, listen, I was 10 years old and I was taken to a Giants Washington football game. 10 years old. And I was walking up the steps wearing a Tiki Barber jersey because he was my guy.
Yeah.
And this guy just starts yelling, "Tiki my balls!
Yeah, I remember that.
Tiki my balls!"
I remember that.
And I'm like, oh no. And it was all game long. I'm a little kid.
I know, but that's like some, the world has gotten scarier. Now they
Tiki
just
my
like
balls.
kidnap you or something.
Yeah, but back then,
It just
I
said,
was
"Tiki
like,
my balls."
there's
Could have been a lot worse.
It was pretty bad back
Yeah.
then. Simpler time.
Here's my favorite thing about this game. It has nothing to do with the Eagles or the Commanders. Micah Parsons will not be, it's from John Machada on Twitter. Micah Parsons will not be rooting for the Eagles this week versus Washington. The Cowboys need Washington to lose to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. Nah, at this point, it's fuck Philly now. Even if we get eliminated, like, I got to crush Philly. Fuck them. I hate them now. I be seeing them talk so much on social media.
He ain't
Bro,
slick.
he
ain't
doesn't.
slick.
No, but you know how that's EDS, that's Eagles derangement syndrome. Because you're talking about you have a chance to get in the playoffs, but you don't even want the things that are necessitate that happening.
You know why?
Why?
Already booked his trip to Mykonos. Don't want to have to cancel it.
Yeah, he's just
non-refundable. He bought a non-refundable ticket for
He's
the
just
offseason.
over it. This is funny. He sounds like a perfect Eagle. Honestly, with this attitude, with this hateful, you know, like
recruiting.
I'm just telling you. Hey, CJ Gardner-Johnson. Sorry, Micah, this isn't going to work. We know you want to come to Philly. CJ Gardner-Johnson left, and he was like, Philly's the worst city ever. I never want to come back. And then he
Look at
came
him
back
now.
the next year. So, Micah, this doesn't scare me. You know? Doesn't scare me at all. Can't wait to see you in Kelly Green one day. But no, it is that's EDS for sure. You know, Jaden has to deal with no Ertz, right? He's down this week.
Yep.
No Noah Brown. Eckler still
Still out.
Yeah, Eckler still. Ertz remains in concussion protocol. So I guess we'll kind of see, but it's not. He's not tracking.
LP on Thursday.
He was an LP?
LP.
so you might get him. But no matter what, going into the game with what he had last week it's tough. It's tough sledding for him in the passing game. Their hope, if they want to play with the Eagles, is to limit possessions, in my opinion. You know, like this is a game where if the possessions get up in the teens per half, like you got a bunch of possessions,
Blowout.
I don't think you can keep up because the possession for the Eagles is going to take up some time, and I think it's going to end in points. They also have to be very good in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got to make stops in the red zone. They made a stop last week with the game on the line, double zeros on the clock in the low red down in New Orleans. They've got to come up with a few of those if they want a chance to win this game. Now the line is kind of tight, is it not? Home team gets 3 points. That's where we are.
Moving it.
So I don't know. Vegas thinks this game's going to be a decent game, or they want you to think it's going to be a decent game. I actually think this is a Jalen Hurts revenge game. The stadium tried to take him. Do you remember the stadium tried to take him?
Mm-hmm.
This would be a pretty good opportunity to just silence that place.
Get back.
You know?
This is a revenge game for. Well, it was like the game that Dom kind of made his ascension, right? Because after that, he had the video of him like holding up the stand a couple like the next year after it happened, and then everybody they made that cut up of Dom doing that, Dom walking off the bus. Dom,
When you get a highlight video with that song, you made it. But no, I just think this is a game where the Eagles, hey, listen, I'm really impressed with what Dan Quinn's done. We talked to Lane Johnson about this in the interview, so you'll hear a little bit more of this breakdown through Lane. But yeah, there are some things to be worried about when you play this defense. They're scrappy. They've done a good job. The linebackers are disruptive. He talks about Luvu. He talks about Bobby Wagner. Obviously, Lattimore being healthy now is a big difference. Like the first time they played each other, I think it came right after that trade, and we wondered if we would see Lattimore, and we didn't, obviously.
Yeah. Yep.
But we're going to get that matchup this week. And, you know, hey, listen, if the Eagles offense stalls and the Commanders can run the football, which, you know, stranger things have happened, this could be a good game. But the Eagles have to come in here and try to play the game on their terms, which is with a lead, and don't play into the sleepy vibe that I think Washington probably wants the first half to take on. You know?
If you bet your Eagles rushing props, the Eagles generate 3.2 yards before contact. Most in the NFL, the Commanders allowed 2.57 yards before contact. Most in the NFL.
Yeah.
In a bad way.
Well, Lane will tell you more about this matchup. We listen. I think this is going to be a heck of a game. And what is it? A 1 p.m.
Yes.
Can we look at the slate real quick?
Shout out to AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown stirring the pot. I think that comment single-handedly might have refocused the locker room.
Isn't that interesting?
It's crazy how stuff works, and whether like I think it refocused the locker room. I think last week's game like showed that a little bit, and I would think because of the way last week's game went after all that media stuff, that they probably had a better week this week of practice
For sure.
and
Everybody's puckered up a little bit.
yeah, I would think like Eagles right now, it's like, yo, like this is a Super Bowl push, guys. Like
Yeah.
we need to start really physically imposing on teams, like, and keep things going throughout the end and rolling into the playoffs, so we can kind of start this running start to feel good when the playoffs get
I also want to point out, I remember a couple years ago, people made a big deal about the Eagles' injuries. You know, it was like, hey, there's something wrong with this team. There's something wrong with the way they're doing things. There's this, that, and the third. I can't remember which year it was, but like far cry from this year. You know, where this team is healthy. We're you know, it's the right time to make a push, and everybody's available. And you know, so this is. As you said, going through what they went through 2 weeks ago, hopefully it helps them. But I will say this, Pittsburgh, I thought they were very vanilla in coverage last week. So if you're expecting the same kind of like, you know, come out, it's going to be easy to find open receivers and that sort of thing. I'll be impressed with Kellen Moore's game plan with Jalen if they can replicate what they did last week through the air. I really will. And you know, it might be just with Dr. Order because of the doubts around the passing game the last, you know, little while. Anyways, Lane will get to the rest of that. But here's the slate Sunday. And the first 1 p.m. on the list is New York and Atlanta. Okay, and obviously that means we got to talk about Michael Penix. Okay, this is my favorite part of this story. Penix was shopping at Costco, about to get a hot dog, and once he got the news, he wasn't hungry anymore. Did you read about this? First off, he's at Costco with his girlfriend, and he's like getting ready to eat this glizzy. And Raheem calls him, and he's like, hey, you're going to be starting for the remainder of the season. And his response was, I wasn't hungry anymore. What does that mean?
Wasn't hungry.
It killed his appetite?
Costco got those foot-long glizzies, too.
So you really need a minute. You know what I mean? And then the other thing was, and I like the fact that this benching, so to speak, has been really – a benching can go really wrong in the NFL and like fuck up the team chemistry and fuck up the young quarterback and a rift between the veteran quarterback and the rest of the locker room. Kirk's doing a good job with this one. He really is. And I know that being benched in the NFL it sucks. Like whether it's for performance or injury, it feels emasculating and it feels like, you know, you're the worst and everybody hates you. When in reality, I don't think anybody hates Kirk. I think people understand why Kirk was brought in, the chance that Atlanta took. His teammates speak highly of him. The Kyle Pitts comment of "I just work here," I think is taken out of context a little bit. If you heard, that's one of those quotes that if you hear Kyle Pitts say, "I just work here," and you read it, it reads totally different. Like the way he said it was like, "Hey man, you know, I just work here," and then you know, like you read in an article, Kyle Pitts on the benching, "I just work here." I think the locker room is going to be fine with this thing. And I think a lot of it is because of the way these two quarterbacks are handling it. Penix is very complimentary of Cousins, says he looks up to him. He doesn't think he's done anything wrong. Other than, you know, Michael, many interceptions. But Kirk called him, you know, supposedly immediately after the deal and was like, I got your back. I'm supportive of you. I'm with you all the way, which is very valuable to a young player. And so I want to commend Kirk for, in his worst moment, being a pro. The NFL's hard, dude. You know, it's like watching that guy Ledbetter do a backflip last week. Everybody is Superman in the NFL. So getting benched, whether you're a guard, a tackle, a quarterback, a defensive end, inevitably, unless you're like one of those gold jacket guys, you're going to get replaced. Even they do. So... And Kirk says, hey, I didn't forget how to play football. I might be back next year. And there's a possibility at some point next year he'll be back. You know, it just is possible. Sometimes when they say, hey, return to play by this date, that doesn't mean like you're going to be great on that date. It just means physiologically you're structurally sound in that ankle or in that Achilles, so you're back. Doesn't mean you're going to play great. This year could have been a wash for Kirk no matter what. And he could come back next year at the ripe old age of whatever the fuck he is, 34, 35. Is he older? 6?
Put some of that money
36?
36.
Some of that money on that Achilles.
At 36 next year or 37, here he is.
He'll be 37 August 19th.
He might fleece somebody else, right? Like it's just but he might look better. You know, it's all I'm saying is sometimes, and he claims a lot of it was actually decision making. He said it's not physical, which of course you're going to say that when you're trying to get another job. Mm-hmm. But the decision making hasn't been great, and if it is decision making, I could definitely chalk it up to, because I know this about Kirk from having heard about him. He's a bit of an in his own head guy. Like he thinks a lot, the whole thing. He you know, it's a double-edged sword being detail-oriented and wanting to do everything right. Like, it can also hinder your ability to play free, especially when they draft a guy that you didn't know they were going to draft. The minute you go on the smartest thing anybody ever could have done was after Kirk's first terrible game, somewhere after that Bucs game where he threw for like 500 yards, he starts slipping. Probably the smartest thing you could have done would be fade the Falcons or fade Kirk Cousins, because the minute he starts having bad games, he knows who's waiting in the wings. And I think that can affect your performance. And if part of this is mental, then Atlanta might have created the self-fulfilling prophecy where they're like, no, see, we did need this guy. Well, part of it might have been that this guy's waiting in the wings and Kirk Cousins is just mentally, because some of the throws were like, you know better. So I do believe him that he was making some bad decisions, but I also think his body's shot right now. So this is the right move to make. I actually like the timing of the move. I think the New York week, perfect. They were laying 8.5. It's a lot of points.
Giants are dinged.
I know they're dinged, but this is a guy that we barely see play in preseason this year. We saw him play against the Dolphins. He got a good day's work, but it's obvious to me, and this is the most important thing, I think, no matter whether you win the division or not, this is not, and they could say it is, but I don't think this is a team that places a great deal of emphasis on preseason stuff like tape, because they would have played him more, Penix. I think this is an opportunity for them to get him a real jump and to evaluate what they need to work on as a team and as a quarterback going into the offseason, no matter what happens. Because what we've already learned is they're not that interested in seeing him play in preseason. Okay, even if he plays a lot next year as the incumbent starter or whatever, it's kind of just a smart move.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's also an element of when you play the guy who's not playing well too long, you can lose the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a really well-calculated move. The timing's right. You could argue you should have done it a week earlier, but they beat the Raiders. Okay? It gives this kid one more week.
Mm-hmm.
And come on, he knew this was coming. Kirk knew this might be coming, as evidenced by his play too.
Mm-hmm.
If one of these two outcomes is the outcome, which is more likely, he looks awesome or he looks very bad.
I think he's going to look awesome. Maybe not. If those are the only two options, I'm going awesome.
Okay.
But now by awesome, I mean, hey, he's pro ready. Like, he's knowing where to go with the football.
9-point win, awesome.
I think I think he could cover. I mean, I don't want to give it away.
It might open up their playbook a little bit.
Exactly.
They've been so restricted with what they can do with Kirk's movement.
Formationally, some of the QB run elements that you might be able to get involved. Like, I'm not saying Penix is Michael Vick.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is, like, the offense has been, to Matt's point, kind of
I'm not trying to be a hater, but I just feel like it's gonna be hard. Like, I mean, being a rookie, your first start, like, I don't think it's gonna be
a must win.
It is a must win, but I think they're gonna try to protect him, and I feel like if they do, like, blow the doors, like, off the Giants, it'll be Bijan Robinson and Algier
screen
in the run game.
Here's the interesting part. You're not just, as somebody pointed out in the chat, you're not just switching quarterbacks. He's a lefty. So there's a lot of stuff that, like, from a wide receiver standpoint, and I didn't play receiver, obviously, but, like, I do know from hearing them talk about it, the ball does come off a lefty's hand a little bit different. And you also know that, like, depending on the route you're running, like, the ball's going to tail differently and that sort of thing. So they got to get used to catching the ball from Penix, which is why I think this is the type of game where you just run the shit out of the football and give him some looks under control. Because what they need is to win out, or do they need to win out, Matt Nagy?
It depends on what Tampa does.
They
most likely need to win out.
They need the Bucs to lose for sure Sunday night. Now, honestly, Sunday night, like, we look ahead to this game, I think Cowboys are trending in a way where it doesn't matter. As Micah Parsons said, he's not even interested in going to the playoffs. I think this is a tough spot for Tampa. I really do. I think Dallas' defense has been playing better. But Tampa, man, if they can go down here and take care of business, I'm just really impressed with this group. They've done a great job this year. And you know what, they expect to, but I think Dallas is a tough spot right now. I never thought I'd say that this December. But they've kind of rounded into form a little bit.
The Bucs are 8-1 in December, January regular season games going back to 2023, 20-5 since 2020.
Todd Bowles, ever
Coach of
since
the year.
Stanford Steve said Coach of the Year a couple years ago when we laughed at him, I mean, it's been very evident to me that this guy is one of the most slept-on coaches in the NFL. Now,
Watch out.
Liam Cohen has made a big difference. Baker Mayfield, finding him diamond in the rough, made a big difference. But, man, I'm pretty impressed. You find Bucky Irving, and this is where if they want to win this game, it's got to be a big Bucky game. They deal with the loss of Godwin, Evans, all that stuff. They've had a ton of injuries. I'm impressed with the group. Yeah, I'm a Bucks liker.
McMillan's been awesome.
It is what it is. McMillan's been great. Come along. So obviously they're coaching the players well. They're developing players well. They're drafting players pretty well, I guess. I mean, I'm no, Bucks expert, but this is going to be a big game Sunday night. And did you know these are all Baker? This is Thursday night alone, so I haven't looked at his other primetime games. I don't think he plays a normal primetime game. Remember his debut win? Remember, that was a Thursday night. That was I know this game's Sunday night, but just primetime period. Primetime debut win way back when. I think it was 2017. I remember watching that thing at a steakhouse. We had an Eagles team dinner and watched Baker get his first win. And then you had the Burrow coming out party. Remember Burrow beat the Browns in like kind of a shootout, and we were like, oh, this guy's going to be good. Then we had the been in L.A. a week Baker win.
Less than a week.
Like 5 days or something. And then the Mason Rudolph helmet game. That was Baker was a supporting actor in that game. Crazy.
Supporting actor.
Seriously.
Imagine they get Mason Rudolph on games with names.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be epic.
Speaking of, where are we going to be for most random player this week?
MRP.
Here.
I think we're going to be right here. Tampa, Dallas.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Running back Eric Rett. Remember this guy? Spelled his name Errict.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Eric.
That's a good one.
Eric Rett. Florida Gator.
Take Jeremy Trueblood, tackle from the Bucs.
True Blood. I remember him. BC guy.
I try to pick guys you might have played against.
Yeah, True Blood. Josh Freeman. Fucking who? I mean,
How about you guys you might have
I've
played
been playing
with? Kevin
grids.
Ogletree.
Kevin Ogletree, he played for the Bucks for a minute. No, he played for
Cowboys.
Dallas.
Cowboys.
Yeah, he played for Dallas.
Cowboys.
Yeah, he played for
KO.
Dallas. KO. Shout out to KO. Yeah, dude. We could go on and on, but this is your job. You, the fans, pick us the most random player. Get back to us. We'll give you a shot
Herman Mincy.
at winning some merch.
Merch, you win this.
You're a mean
Right here.
one, Mr. Mintz.
Kenyon Rambo.
Rambo.
Dallas Cowboy.
Hey, do the Rams have something to worry about going to New York this weekend?
Yeah, dog.
Yep.
They sure do.
Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Rodgers, who says, is this true? He says it's almost like saying the obvious, but the report is that he wants to play somewhere next year, just not the Jets. Did I hear that right?
He also
Did I get
said
fake
he
news?
He said
I
he
love
redid
it.
his house in Jersey.
So he redid his house in Jersey. Why?
Twa.
I don't know.
Are they going to do this?
2 teams in Jersey.
Are they going to do this?
They got to get rid of
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson. He needs to go.
You think they're going to do this?
somewhere.
What?
Bring him back.
Yeah.
You think they're going to bring him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I would bet on it.
Both of-
told you. You see what he's doing? Him and Devontae Adams, like, hey, we got to trick him. Like, this is the time. We just got to play good for these last couple of games. We don't even have to get wins. We just have to show that.
Jets fans, how do you feel?
can
He's
build
going
off
to he's
something.
going to give Nathaniel Hackett the head coaching job, and they'll get some whoever.
I haven't seen the doc yet. Is it good?
I have not
it
watched
out?
it. It is.
It's
Another
out.
reason why.
on Netflix.
Another reason why I feel like he wants to play well, because he has other stuff going on outside of football that he probably wants to do well. So if he plays well, it'll spill over into that. Versus, I think
he's
it'll
always
do
gonna
well
be
either
relevant.
way, but it'll be a positive light of people watching the extra stuff versus if you're still playing shitty these last couple of games, all that documentary stuff, everyone's going to be like, oh, you're goofy, you're this, look, blah, blah.
Just to be honest, though, that doc's about his personal journey, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So it really has nothing to do with football.
I mean,
And I'm saying that is like, hey, listen, I'm going to judge that separately with football. I take, Aaron Rodgers is a couple buckets. There's like
But
the Aaron
he
Rodgers
used to
in
be
the
the
media.
GOAT.
There's the Aaron Rodgers' personal life. There's Aaron Rodgers on the field. There's Aaron Rodgers. It's just a bunch of buckets. I'm trying to judge them all independently, trying to give the guy a chance, right? I don't want to pile on. I'm sorry, I even broached the subject.
He'll only be 42 next year.
He'll only be 42.
only.
And that's the thing. It's like the Kirk Cousins thing. If I'm thinking Kirk Cousins might be better, I'll say this. Rodgers can still throw the piss out of a football. Okay, and ultimately, that's kind of what people were evaluating him on before this process.
Yeah.
It just becomes harder to believe, like, do I really want to be the third, fourth franchise here? And it's like, I know it's Packers and Jets now, but like, do I want to be the third franchise? Do I want to be the second one to jump out of the gym for this thing? Speaking of quarterbacks, Brock Purdy, did you see that with the Toyotas?
Awesome.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
You
he-
saw it. You
he
sent it
gave
in, right?
10 offensive linemen a Toyota truck, 5 Sequoias, 5 what's the other
Tundras.
truck?
Tundras.
Tundras.
So
It was
Dibs on a
white.
Tundra.
So that you asked the right question. How confident is he that he's going to get paid? I mean, obviously very confident. Either that or Toyota's like, hey, here you go.
Oh, it's a commercial.
It's a
It's
yeah.
definitely a
Yeah.
commercial.
There you go.
Yeah.
But those are
Right.
leases, right? Those are like a year lease, right? That's
I don't know. Why
that's
didn't
not
any
just-
of the guys ask that question?
That's not.
Would
just
that
a
be an
car.
inappropriate question?
I don't think it's a
Also-
lease, dude. I think they own those cars.
Also,
I don't think you give out leases, right?
No,
I think
that would be a
Toyota wanted
weird.
to
Yeah, I
think
don't
that.
think. Yeah,
That
you
would've
give a
made the
lease out to
news.
a fan for a giveaway. You don't give it out to a.
how do we
Really?
determine who's getting a Sequoia and who's getting a
That
Tundra?
part to
question.
me was
He
a
said-
little
Is there a
bit.
draft?
No, that I don't know that there was a draft. That
He
he
made
was
it
just
seem like
like,
figure
so
it
here you
out.
go, guys.
Starters pick first.
Well, starters pick first.
One-on-ones.
Yeah, Oklahoma drill. But they were hopping in these trucks and they all had red interior.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking you could redo that right
I hate to
away.
look a gift horse in the mouth.
You could wrap it on the
Yeah.
outside. Yeah.
But that was like, holy shit, when a guy gets you a vehicle, like, what are you supposed to say?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like, how big a thank you can I give you?
Well,
Like a block for you.
I mean, the first thing you do, you don't complain about the red interior.
No, I know, but I didn't get the truck, so I feel like I can. I'm going to complain for Ben Barch. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the red interior, and I would have been like, that's going to be a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
But look, you know what the perfect thing is?
What?
Think about all those guys that maybe didn't have a good enough Christmas gift for their girl or significant other.
Then they just...
Re-gift.
You think you re-gift a truck?
Re-gift a
Re-gift.
truck that's going viral on social
No,
media
but
right
then
now?
you just take her phone.
not?
You take her phone for the next week so she doesn't see it, and then
Or just
you
get
put
her-
a bow on that motherfucker.
get it wrapped really quick. You know.
You're very
Wait, is this a Sequoia that Brock Purdy gave you? No.
no.
This is
It's
now
green.
silver.
Dude, that's like I'm definitely getting paid, or it's a commercial,
Or it's both.
When is Toyota-thon generally?
I don't know.
Right now.
Right now?
Right
The fact
now.
that we even know that word
Is impressive.
Toyota-thon?
Toyota.
I'm a Toyota driver,
Yeah.
so
One more matchup we want to run through: Vikings Seahawks.
You know what Jeep should
Wait,
do?
let's talk it. Let's speak it into existence.
Jeepers.
If
Yeah.
we were to get a magical sponsor at some point in the green light for our existence,
Yeah.
what company will we want to drop off 10 cars for all of us in here?
so you're just asking what car we would want?
Basically, or what company, if they're
Toyota.
listening,
Well, I already have a Toyota.
would you want a Tesla?
No thanks.
No.
Dang, God.
No, the Cybertruck is the new Hummer. It's basically like, and I had one once,
I know.
and I sold it,
Cybertruck.
and I sold it because I didn't want people. That's like the baby dick mobile, the Hummer. Oh, here, look at my giant.
Think about the
Look at my
marketing, bro.
giant truck
Imagine
that's
if
not
you had-
really that functional
If you had that H2 with a
that
green
everybody
light wrap,
stares at.
Hey,
No
you
no
understand
H2.
that, right?
I'm afraid I did not.
You don't?
I'd do an H1.
Don't real estate people still put their names on benches and face on benches? It's about people seeing that, right?
Some do.
I don't want a Cybertruck, man. I parked next to one the other day, and I was just like what am I
on video doing that?
Because I'm on video now.
Like they have videos, like
They got videos on the truck.
The entire car, all
I love it.
all Teslas.
Yeah,
Is that not an invasion of people's privacy?
seems like it should be.
Maybe.
I guess it's like a big dash cam, which I enjoy
what it
watching
is.
Russian dash cam footage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
If you're an offensive lineman, you want this car, or do you want the Katana?
Money.
Do you want Patrick Mahomes' Yeti cooler?
The Katana is selfish.
What's the katana?
It's a selfish gift.
What's
Joe
the
Burrow
Katana?
got his offensive lineman like
sword.
600-year-old.
Hey, you know what's damn funny about that? My buddy Tom just texted me yesterday. He's like, "Do you remember when I bought my whole family swords for Christmas?" He did. He bought them all like real fucking Excalibur-looking swords. There's a Christmas picture. They're all at the tree, like age 75 to like 20, and they've all got their swords.
That's actually sick.
That's a pretty lit
That's
gift
epic.
right there. Burrow's a little different, huh?
He's a little different.
That's
He
selfish.
bought a Batmobile. He bought him swords.
Yeah. Which is interesting that the Batmobile thing comes out and then you get a sword. I don't know how much the sword
Exactly.
is or what, but
That and the fact that now it's personalized. Also, each sword was personalized for the person.
Mm-hmm.
So now I cannot do anything with this sword ever. Like I have to keep it.
can't give it to your girlfriend.
Like, I have
He
to
needs
keep
to
it.
buy the whole defense wingsuit. Go try these out, guys. It's wingsuits. They're gonna fly. Seriously, what would he buy that defense? Plane tickets to Mykonos?
Yeah.
Yep.
One way.
One line. That's funny.
Speaking of Trey Hendrickson, they wasted him this year. 12.5 sacks, leading the NFL. And I just wanted to check in on the NFL sack leaders before we get any further. Let's see. Trey Hendrickson's got 12.5. Danielle Hunter's got 12. TJ Watt has 11.5. Nick Bonito has 11.5. Myles Garrett has 11. John Grenard has 11. Will Anderson 10.5. And Will McDonald 10. Okay, so
Only 2 games left for Benito though.
only 2 games left for Bonito. Trey's got Browns, Broncos, and Steelers versus Danielle, who's a half sack back who has Chiefs. That's a good thing, having the Chiefs, the Ravens, and then the Titans. That's a very good thing. I feel like Danielle's got a shot at this thing.
I think he's a favorite.
Is he a favorite?
I would DTR's starting, right? He's not going to take a bunch of sacks.
Whew.
What's the etymology of sack? How did we come up with that term?
I believe it goes back to warfare. Like when you sack Carthage, you completely take it over and drop it.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be the whole sacking.
Okay.
What'd you think it was? Teabagging. Yeah, very different.
Yeah.
History teacher, history student.
We got some work to do.
But I think
Teabag.
I think Hunter's got a chance, man. I know facts. You talk about your props. I got a prop. for Hunter leading the league. That I'll get you all katanas,
Let's do it. No, I would
like cheap katanas.
I have a
Deacon Jones coined the term sack.
yeah. I have a 15-month-old right now that is into swinging odd items. So I think having a katana in the house right now is probably not
Not a good
That wouldn't be good.
It's not
No.
a good idea.
That wouldn't be good. All right,
Vikings Seahawks.
Vikings Seahawks. Here's the
Quickly.
problem. The Seahawks offensive line is they I don't want to say booty cheeks, but they're having a hard time.
Cheeks.
That right guard, I think it was the right guard last week, gave up almost like 10 pressures.
Yep.
They've got possibly the third center playing,
Louis
basically.
Timmy's out.
You know, I think the offense, if you hear Seahawks fans talk about the offense, because, like, you know, sometimes y'all notice shit that we don't know in the national media because it's very visceral for y'all. Would you say it's accurate that you guys are very predictable offensively? Would you say it's accurate that you guys kind of play like backyard ball and that you guys are always in the gun? And it's just easy to tee off on Geno. I don't know what they're doing offensively week to week. And this week, What's the line in this game?
Seahawks are getting 3 points.
That's not a lot.
And it will be raining.
Under. Cold rain
42
in
and a half
Seattle.
the total.
Cold rain in Seattle.
You're going to have to run the ball. I know it's not what you want to do. I know it's not like kind of you got to run the ball.
Kenny Walker, healthy.
Charbonnet had a nice week last week when you gave him the ball. Kenny Walker, your guy,
Best player in the NFL.
best player in the NFL.
Seahawks slip into a victory in the rain.
I mean, we kind of it just would make a lot of sense with the way things go in the NFL where it's like, hey, that was the worst they could have played in prime time. Like the worst. They were awful in that first half. Just hapless. Just giving up a bunch of movement defensively. And then this week, you're thinking, hey, the Vikings are one of the best teams in the league now, and they're going to Seattle, and they're only laying 3 points. Sums up there. I don't know. Hard one for me to figure out, going to be honest. Play action pass. Got to be dialed in versus play action pass. Seahawks have had better linebacker play. Those guys have to be really dialed in this week. But the rain could factor into this game. And the rain could render this game to be a bit more of a possess the football kind of game.
You think the 12s are going to come out? We've been talking about how different that home field advantage is.
What happened to y'all? Seriously, y'all were such a proud group. Now,
3
I'm
and
not
5
taking a
at Liberty
shot
Field
because
this year.
I've given you your props at every turn in the road for being a great football city. Loved the stadium, skyline, second to none. The whole thing. I used to love going up there and playing, even if we went 1-7 up there in division. But you guys used to be like feared. Now I'm hearing you at home, like kind of going on silent count. Did I get some like there was enough crowd noise last week?
There was go pack go chance.
There were go pack Joe. What happened to y'all? Honestly, open-ended question for Seattle Seahawks fans.
3 and 5.
Were
so
y'all
far
just
this year.
front running? Talk to me. What happened? Is it harder to cheer for a team that's not full of LOB players and Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson? Is that what happened?
Mike McDonald took down all those posters. Maybe there were a lot of 12 posters.
Yeah, the posters. He took the
them all
posters down. I don't know what happened.
Hey,
12's got to show up.
remember the coach, George Allen? It was the term sack had never been used. It was always tackle the quarterback for a loss. But the night before the game, George goes, quote, before we play those Dallas Cowboys, we're going to take that Morton salt and pour him into a sack.
So it wasn't sacking Carthage?
No, more of a George Allen, Deacon Jones hybrid sort of thing. Deacon Jones latched onto that.
He really latched onto it, didn't he?
Pour him into a
That's
sack.
funny. So that's listen, that's pretty much all the breakdowns now. We got a couple topics here. Speaking of inside the NFL, because that's where we had this conversation. I'm not going to say who said it. You wouldn't know who it was anyways. Somebody who works on the show. But we did Secret Santa. Did y'all see what Bill got me?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
Just incredible. He got me a
Should've worn
American
the jersey.
Beauty record. So basically a Grateful Dead record. And I opened the first thing. And then the second thing, I'm like, oh, this is like, what is this? Like a bottle of liquor or a trophy or something? Oh, it's kind of light. So ripping the packaging off. It's Pringles. And then the third one is Chips Ahoy. And he's basically calling me a stoner on the CW. And he's the funniest line he had was, "It's something to keep you busy." He's like, "I know you like the Dead. I just figured you might get hungry, you know." Good on you, Coach. And then we had Lawrence Taylor on. That was a cool moment. That guy's fucking scary. I'll tell you what. There's something different about looking in Lawrence Taylor's eyes. You know, the eyes are the window to the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, there's something going on in that soul.
Incredible actor in Any Given Sunday.
Oh, incredible. But it's kind of method acting, you know?
Need that
But he was scary, bro.
Need that
I mean,
bonus.
super nice. But you know how when you meet somebody, whether it's on Zoom or whatever, like you feel their energy? I'm like, man, anything at any time with this guy, for sure.
I should hold back a not nice joke. Is that right? That's
Yeah,
what I
you
should
should.
do?
Yeah, you
Okay,
should.
got it.
It's too recent that I got to meet him,
Yep.
you know?
Okay.
He might
All right.
he might find you.
Yep.
We'll keep her right here.
But the The last thing is, we get any power rankings updates? Honestly, let's pull up. Can somebody pull up last week's power rankings? This is my power rankings last week. We had Detroit 1. Obviously, they're going to drop a little bit because of the injuries that the team has incurred. Now, I'm not going to drop them past, in my opinion, I think they dropped to 4.
David Montgomery
is trying to play.
Well, no, is he?
Yeah, he's
yeah,
trying to play.
Third opinion, yeah.
Yeah.
But he is awesome. And with Gibbs, that might be the best running back in the league with the combo. You understand? Gibbs on his own. We're rolling out Craig Reynolds to try to get some between the tackles yards.
I understand what you're saying, but they really didn't run the ball last week either. I know it's the Buffalo Bills, but I think this team can still score. I don't worry about the offense. I think it's a one side of the ball problem.
Worried.
I'm going to put them at 4. I'm not going to put them any lower. I think you got to put the Eagles 1. It's just fair with the way they're playing. I mean, the quality of that win. Listen, I'm not gonna dock them too much because they played the Panthers close. A couple people were in that club. Bills going to be 3 for me. Staying right where 2 for me. Staying right where they are. The Chiefs then move to 3 because although they do make everything look hard right now, they're winning. And what they did last week was impressive, considering the circumstances. Right, moving Joe out, like finding a way to run the football, staying committed to it. Defense plays well. On the road in a game that most people would have said, hey, that's a close game. So good for them. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Macon, I noticed you had the Packers kind of like right outside your top 4, didn't you?
To 5.
You had them at 5.
Yep.
You like them better than the Vikings right now.
I do.
It's hard to disagree.
I love that Josh Jacobs.
You see a little Sam Darnold last week looking human, and it's easy to be like, oh, the Packers. You know what I mean? So I'll ride with you there. We can put the Packers next up. I think the Ravens, right behind the Packers possibly. But I don't want to dock Minnesota for what they've done all year long. So I'll put the Packers and then the Vikings, and then I'll get the Ravens right after them. And I would put the Rams. I might put the Rams because I'm kind of judging. Power is about who you can be, in my opinion, the playoffs. We're doing a power rankings. The Rams could be. They are effectively like a top 4 to 6 team when they play really well.
I sure would like them over the Pittsburgh Steelers on a neutral field.
With George Pickens out right now, it kind of feels like they're over the Steelers. So are we working this thing out a little bit? Hey, we're working this thing out a little bit. We got the Steelers 9 here, which is a big drop from where they were a couple weeks ago. Chargers, that's a nice win, but they don't really move me. Can I put the Bucks above all those double-digit teams?
I like it.
I'm going to put the Bucks up there right behind the Rams. All right? You could make an argument that the Bucks are better than the Steelers. I'm not going to make that argument yet. Okay? And then accordingly, we have Chargers, we have Texans, Seahawks. Get out of here until you prove otherwise. Give me the Commanders. They're back in.
Okay. And then you got room for the Broncos somewhere? 14?
Oh, sorry, the Broncos. I'm very sorry. Give me the Broncos ahead of the Commanders. Broncos ahead of the Commanders.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
Now, I think the problem with the Broncos right now is like they really don't. Like, defensively, they don't scare me without Riley Moss in the game.
It has been a game changer.
If 40 hadn't touched Justin Herbert to give him a first down in the low red, might be a different result last night.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, but the Broncos, again, the point remains, like, how many quality wins have they had?
There were they showed the graphic last night. It was 1-5 against teams, now 1-6 against teams with a
that hurts you. I've seen the Bucks go toe to toe. I've seen the Bucks beat people. Now, your Broncos beat up on the Bucks, but that was a long time ago.
Very different Bucks team.
Hey, man, when I said if I could give one player to the Broncos, it'd be John Elway. Do you understand what I was saying there a little bit? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
That was a hot take. Have you had your hand up that tiger's ass the whole show?
No, only in the last few minutes.
Like, you a puppeteer?
Hey, I can get a good look at a tiger's ass by putting my hand up his ass, but I'd rather just take the butcher's word for it.
Yep, you got it. Hey, and there's also a quote from Kirk Cousins that I really liked, and I forgot to forgot to say, they were like, why'd you call Michael Penix? Like, what was up with that? Well, obviously, he wanted to just be like, hey, dude, I'm not freaking out here. But the quote was, if I could find it, too many notes, I like to shoot elephants in the room, so I just wanted to shoot one.
What?
That was a Kirk Cousins quote. Well, no, it makes sense, right? Kill the elephant in the room. Like, the elephant in the room
I get it.
is that, like, hey, it's awkward. You don't want to come back in the building the next day without talking. And it's like, hey, man, how was your night? Like, let's talk.
But don't we just acknowledge the elephant? We don't need to kill the elephant.
No, Kirk kills the elephant. Could get him in a lot of trouble, honestly.
I think the issue is not that the elephant is alive in the room. The issue is that the elephant is being ignored in the room.
You address it.
Like, oh my God, this living elephant is in the room.
I know, but he went, no, not anymore.
Yeah.
Dead.
Pow.
Yeah.
Dead elephant.
Dead pachyderm. Probably not one you want to kill. So, again, I've got Eagles, Bills, Chiefs, Lions, Packers, Vikings, Ravens, Rams, Steelers, Bucks, Chargers, Texans, Broncos, Commanders. Does anybody give a fuck?
I do.
I don't care about this shit. Power rankings.
I do. I'm
like
most
them.
curious
I
about
think
the
it's a good
Texans. I think the Texans might have a little upward mobility there.
Texans do. I mean, Texans might win this game this weekend, and then what are we talking about?
I'm talking about 8. Talking about 9.
No, what are we talking about? Steelers might get blown out, doors blown off them. Then what are we talking about?
Lower. Love
11,
power
12.
rankings.
Stupid as hell, dude.
Love it.
It makes so much sense why people do this stuff all the time. We just did that in 3 minutes.
Yep.
People make a whole 30-minute segment out of this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, they got more power than they did last week. What does that mean? The fuck does that mean?
A dear friend, Mike Florio's made a career on power rankings.
And you know what? It kind of serves the aggregator, or not the aggregator, the content creator, to have the power rankings be a little bit like, put one or two in there that piss people off, because then you get the comments. I just can't get there. Being okay with just putting crazy shit out so people criticize me. It's just not my style. Okay.
Let's give the people lane.
Oh, let's give them lane. How long a lane are they getting?
They're getting 9 minutes.
Getting 9 minutes of lane.
9 minutes of lane.
But if you want the rest of it, you can go to our YouTube.
YouTube, it's going to drop right after this live show.
That's right.
And you guys, you and Lane, talk about the Commanders game this weekend. Steelers last week against the Steelers game last week. TJ Watt and Mekhi Becton's emergence for them this year.
Yeah, we talk about all that shit.
It was a great little interview.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. We got to get more interviews to y'all. I mean, we've been in lieu of interviews, we've been doing a lot of live shows. But anyways, enjoy this. We might be back for a closing thought or two, so stick around.
As Spencer in the chat says, then you just got to be addressing, acknowledging, talking about a dead elephant in the room.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's a bigger problem.
It stinks.
It's
rotting.
Bleeding everywhere.
How we get this fucking elephant out of here?
Everybody's sad.
Kids, you get to have kids around.
Jeez, maybe look at the Giants this week.
Enjoy Lane. Dan Quinn, Joe Witt Jr., this defense has done a really nice job this year, the group you're going to face this weekend. What's the number one thing without giving up the secret sauce that you got to worry about when you face a group like this? What do they make it hard on you? In what area?
Well, they blitz a lot. So I think top 3 in the NFL as far as blitz percentage. Number 4 plays inside linebacker, and then he does a lot of stuff as a spinner. And so he has a lot of sacks. Yeah. And Bobby Wagner plugs a lot too. So, but I think they move well to second level. I think they try to confuse the center up with his points. Sometimes they rotate the safety down to be in the run box. Sometimes they don't. And so you have to be right with your points.
I'll tell you, I've been impressed with Dorrance Armstrong.
Yeah, I think what makes him unique is that, he's 6'2" or whatever, but he has 35-inch arms. So
he's only 6'2".
I don't know. He might be. Was he listening?
Because he's long, like you said. I didn't realize what you just pointed out, but he plays with length.
Yeah, well, I feel like he has like the arm length of like a 6'6" guy. Yeah. I think he's like 6'3", maybe 6'4", but he naturally gets leverage, especially on taller guys like myself. So, I think he's very underrated. I think Fowler's having a pretty good year.
Fowler's playing really well.
Yeah, I think he has. Around 8 sacks, but he does a good job of going up the field with his rip move. He'll throw an occasional spin in there to keep you honest. So, he's pretty balanced. But yeah, I just feel like this unit, they play collectively pretty well together. They do a good job running games, and they play hard. Like even, our last game, it was, down to the wire till the very end. So
no question. I mean, listen, they're a scrappy bunch. You just played a scrappy bunch. Pittsburgh Steelers. The thing I liked watching this weekend was landing on Cam Hayward and you on TJ Watt and my lot on Highsmith. I mean, not to leave out Becton, had to deal with some guys and Cam and those guys, but the matchups up and down the line. Would I be right in saying that's the best offensive line in the league playing against the best defensive line in the league? Or
it sure felt like it.
Yeah.
When you watch the game, it was like just so much purely drop back. They knew what was coming. Like whenever I guess you have, the game's mixed up, you have some big runs, you have some big passes, but we were pretty much, committed to throwing the ball. I was like, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
Because it's just like they get so many opportunities to kind of like try out their whole arsenal on you. And so when you have players that good, it's like you kind of see it all. But yeah, he's smart, man. His athleticism, just his intelligence and what he can do at the line of scrimmage. It's probably the best I've seen. Definitely this year. He's very unique.
Do you notice like the intentionality with his rushes and what he's trying to do? Can you kind of feel what he's trying to set up as the game goes on, or is he a spin the wheel guy? Can you tell?
Well, I felt like he'll rush the edge a few times, do a ghost. He might hit you with power, and then he'll go up the field 1 or 2 steps and go hard inside move to kind of get you to drift or overset. And then, along with the ghost, he'll do a spin. So a lot of times I'm looking for like that lead arm to give it away. So yeah, with him, but basically I'm trying to set vertical. I'm trying to gain a little bit of width. Like I need some width in case he pushes the pocket some, but I don't want to create so much width where, I'm worried about TEs, ET, the games. So that's where the set lines, like when we talk about that stuff, that's what I'm talking about. So you'll notice like there's some lines, or even like when Breeze was there, or like what Tampa does, a lot of times they set pretty flat. They scatter. They cast a wide net. We're more of like we keep it firm in the middle. Both Jordan and I, we vertical set. If there is pressure, he has, if the DN breaks contain, Jalen can escape the pocket, which we kind of like.
More of an invitation.
Yeah. But there was some times where I jumped TJ. I like to jump set for like a D line.
I noticed you were aggressive.
Yeah, sometimes I try to mix it up. It just there's nothing worse than just sitting back and just doing that thing the whole game. So I think it helps with the rhythm of it. But I feel like it was a long day for everybody because what I said, they knew it was a pass was coming, and everybody's pretty much man on 5 down. So good luck.
Yeah, no question. You were out there on an island a lot and didn't give up much at all. I know you're not going to get into, the stats, but I could give them to you. It was a good day at the office for you and really for the whole group, man. I really did feel like just the way the game ended, you started with the pass game, which was interesting, right? Eagles fans are always like, hey, run the damn ball. We want to see that stuff. But I felt like there was a rhythm to it. And then you finished with one of those chokeout drives. And I wonder if you guys even have a name for those drives because you've had about 4 of them this year. It's got to be a point of pride.
Yeah, it's that when you get in those situations or in the fourth quarter that every possession's, special. So I don't know. We got some momentum. It wasn't pretty. I remember being backed up in the end zone, a 3-yard line. And we called jet protection. I'm like, fuck. Get it out.
Yeah.
But no, it was I feel like there was a few drives in that game where just we had a lot of plays. I think there was like a 21 play drive one time. That might have been the final 10 minutes. But yeah, some games end like that. And yeah, we have our 4-minute, but that 4-minute turned into 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So
yeah.
10 minutes.
It was
yeah.
10. It was really like I forget what the statistic was. I think it was like 24 minutes of possession in the second half.
Time of possession. Yeah.
Is that? Have you ever been have you guys ever been that high in possession on one half?
Not that I know of. I felt like
2 possessions and a half is the lowest since some
Yeah,
point.
well,
For the Steelers.
I think when we played Cincinnati, I felt like we didn't have a whole lot of snaps like the
Yeah.
first half there.
Yeah.
They had a whole lot of the clock. But, yeah, I mean, that's how it worked out. We had some plays. We had some penalties on that drive, too, so we'd make some big yards, come back. So we stayed, we fought. It wasn't pretty. But, defense, like I said, all year, I feel like all the young players are now, they've gotten some games under their belt, and they just consistently just playing really well.
What's the thing that shocked you most about Mekhi Becton? If there's anything that surprised you?
I remember watching him at tackle, so I knew he had really good feet for a big man. But like when they're drafting guards, obviously they're looking for guys that are like between 6'3" to maybe 6'6", but usually a guy that's shorter, has more natural leverage for the run blocking stuff. But with his length inside, he really. I mean, when he puts his arms out on people, they're like shocked because he's on them quick. And I feel like he's adjusted well. He started the year against Kenny Clark, had a really big game, and if there's been mistakes, I feel like he's learned very quickly, and he's having fun, man. And he's a big guy. And like far as passing off games, just his wingspan from him to an eye, that helps out so much. But he's naturally got some quick feet for a guy his size. I mean, I don't know how big he was at the combine. He ran like a 5 flat at like 360 or whatever he was. So he's a pretty good athlete, really good athlete.
Could you kind of see Stout's, his influence affecting him as the year goes on, the confidence that he probably is starting to build?
Yeah. Stout, he has a unique way of coaching everybody. Yeah. And sometimes he'll coach players through other players. And so, like, he does a good job of kind of passing around the O-line room. But, yeah, I think he gave him confidence early on. And then as he started, like, getting games under his belt and getting more confidence and we started having more success, it just snowballed. Like I said, he has those traits that he's probably got the longest arms on the team. And he's super long for a tackle, and him being there at guard makes stuff a lot easier.
What's up, Greenlight fans? It's your boy, Dr. Fax, and I want to talk to you about Airbnb. Me and the Greenlight crew, a few years ago, we stayed at Airbnb for the Super Bowl in Arizona, and it was absolutely immaculate. It had a huge cactus in the backyard, had a pool, had enough room for everybody, way better than a hotel. And then recently just purchased a house with my girl, and we found out that we can be hosts. And your house might be worth more than you think, and you can find out at airbnb.com/host.
Welcome back. That's not the whole interview. There's more.
Right after this stream ends, we're dropping Lane Johnson on the YouTube channel. So stay right here, jump right over for it. You'll get the whole thing.
Yeah, no question. I got nothing else to say, honestly. I'm all out of shit to say. It's Friday. I want to go to Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with my kids. That's where I'm going.
Sonic.
Did you tell them the quote about Jim Carrey? How he said he would only come back to the movies for
no, that's pretty
movie,
funny. Yeah, that's all the more evidence that I need to go see the movie.
Yep.
He was only going to come out of retirement for art.
Yep.
Really.
The right thing.
Are you planning on seeing Sonic at any point?
No.
Nate?
What's that?
I missed the.
Y'all take care. We got the gambling show out tomorrow. Be sure to listen to what I'm about to say. As we get ready for Week 16 in the NFL this weekend, I want you to picture this. You bet your favorite player as first touchdown scorer, but he throws a block to send a teammate into the end zone, and you lost your bet, right?
Wrong.
With BetMGM second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Keep that in mind next time you throw in a first touchdown score bet with BetMGM. Happy hunting. Y'all
appreciate y'all being here.
Take care. See y'all Monday.